The NOP team going to be leading this race, trying to get that championship, waiting for that green flag to come out. It feels like it's going to take an eternity, but the green flag is out, and the drivers are on their way. And unlike Mugello, 1 round to go. It's a very clean start. You can see the field mostly single file outs heading into turn number 1. Some 3-wide action, though, a little bit farther in the back with some LMP3s and LMGT3 contenders. But looking at the front of the field in the LMP2 class, it's NOP leading them through into turn number 3 the first time by, and that's a big crash a little bit farther in the back. That's a Work Sim Racing number 16 Mustang around, along with the Delta V number 25 LMP3 program. They've gone off the circuit as well, trying to have some rally action to rejoin the racetrack. And the W2 ePro GP team getting a big hip check. That, I believe, was a Delta Racing number 31 BMW that just gave them the hip check of a lifetime. And there's the MV Skin Lab DS Racing number 87 LMP2 car. They've gone off the circuit. They've pulled over to the side of the road. Lots of debris out there on the racetrack. Lots of wounded race cars. I may have jinxed this field about the comment that the race start was clean. The initial start was clean. However, when they careened their way through turns 1, 2, and 3 the first time by, the field just divulged into absolute pandemonium.
Yeah, it very much did. We didn't even see half of it. There was about 3 or 4 separate incidents going on at the same time. You had that first one with the LMP3s, and then somehow LMP2, LMP3, a Mustang in there as well, another LMP3. It just all kicked off once they got to turn 3. You'll know that the Mustang doesn't seem to be an overpopular choice. In fact, there's no cars in that championship who is choosing the Mustang. And we've got 2 here, so very, very refreshing. And this is how Maris Mars, the Work Sim Racing. This is the number 4 Delta Racing BMW going for a spin, and that's an LMP2 running into them. That's a full course
and that
yellow
right there,
coming out.
I don't believe that will be a full course yellow, but certainly damage to both the Delta Racing BMW and LMGT3 and the number 43 ResTech Reporter Corsi team currently being driven by Carmen Forte. And here's a replay of Felipe Chagas in that number 4 Delta Racing car going for a spin. That, I believe, was coming through turn number 13 right towards the end of the lap. And you can see, actually, he made a little bit of contact with the NOP car. That was rear contact from the NOP car riding on board with Carmen Forte and the number 43.
Here is on board with the NOP 89 car, and yeah, it just was a tiny bit of contact. I think he might get away with it, but when I say might, I really do mean might. That was almighty close, and the number 6 Work Sim Racing car took his opportunity, went up the inside, and managed to get the lead just before we went to the yellow. As we are green again, and well, if the NOP car has any damage, doesn't look like it's affecting him that much. Multi-class, I can tell you that trying to come through a multi-class field is not something I miss doing at all, as this is the battle going on for 8th, 9th and 10th, as they nearly go 3 wide into turn 5, and this is where we've been saying is probably going to be the best overtaking spot, as the Revolution e-racing car goes all the way. And here's a replay for, I believe this is the lead of the race in the LMGT3s between, that's definitely going to be a penalty. There's no doubt about that. I thought the Mercedes was going to wait up there.
It's a drive-through penalty for car number 6, a Work Sim Racing LMP2 car. Avoidable contact, so that's going to bring them into the pits and lose them the lead overall. Looking, though, NOP has closed up that gap a lot between those two, so...
I imagine it's quite lenient as well. As, like you said, he's got to stop and... Oh, I saw that coming from a mile off, and that's the number 52 car spinning around one of the BMWs and nearly taking the number 6 Work Sim Racing with him. And speaking of, the number 6 is looking to go up to 8th now. He's just gained 2 places in the space of about 2 corners. Very, very good opportunistic and avoidance there. It's just all about the live stewarding. And there's the number 73 getting his drive-through penalty for avoidable contact with the number 91, and that was kind of inevitable, but butt-clenchingly holds on to 2nd place, but only just. As Paulo Vinicius, and that's the pressure getting to the number 5, as he goes for a cheeky spin. The only Portuguese driver in the lobby, I believe, at his home track, once again, and what on earth?
That's a hardware failure.
Yep, that's
that has got to be a hardware failure from... Christian Kampgrer in that Rising Panel Racing number 47 car going off the circuit. And you can see he was spinning the wheels there, so I guess his throttle must have stuck. Taking a look at another angle of this Rising Panel Racing team. Again, very happy about the fact they sealed the deal in that LMP3 Class Championship. 1 round to go. One-way ticket into that barrier.
As they continue to navigate some LMGT3 traffic. And the 41 being a very patient here, as that's deep for the 46, and that's contact.
Contact!
With the 46, and I can imagine the 41 will be smart to let him back through if he wants to avoid a penalty. And yes, the 46 flashing there, I don't blame him at all.
You bring up a very good point, though, in reference to locking the rears compared to locking the fronts. We may see the 41 yield that position to the 46. Yes, he does.
There might be something wrong with the squishy bit in the middle, but as I don't know if he's feeling okay. I'm not quite sure, as we've got a battle here for second in the LMGT3 after the 73 had to serve his penalty.
Some of them going for some driver swaps, others not, as we see a side-by-side fight involving Julian Becerra in that Simatech Sensations number 20 car, going side-by-side with Samuel Miller in the Work Sim Racing number 6, still side-by-side on corner exit, heading up the hill through turn number 6, down into 7 now. Yeah, that's the thing with these races. You really got to keep your nose to the grindstone, because a small little moment can spell absolute disaster, and despite the fact that a 4-hour-long race may seem a bit daunting, a couple of seconds lost towards the beginning could snowball into a disaster. Looking at this, though, 3 wide coming onto the start-finish straightaway. Ryan Ware in the number 46 Rising Panel Racing car trying to get a move done. That's a World of Sim Racing. Actually, no, that's not the World of Sim Racing car. That's a Delta Racing car that he's going side-by-side with. You can see Mario Capalucci in the number 11 car, my apologies, in the midst of that battle as well. I can't even call them curbs. They're more so like urban plateaus. You hit those and you just get yanked up into the air like a puppet more than anything else. Yeah, that sort of stuff happen. It's not the first time we've seen it thus far in this race. Certainly won't be the last. As a Mustang battle hang down into turn number 1, the VR Racing number 29 car getting a move done on the Work Sim Racing number 16. The number 89 car picking up a drive-through penalty. Full course yellow speed violation. Ooh. The NOP team leading this race. Yeah, you jinxed him, Aaron. You are exactly right. I mean, I say that as if I am any better, but nevertheless, NOP having to get hit with a drive-through penalty, and that is going to sting. That 12-second gap they have between themselves and Tri-State Racing, that's going to be obliterated. That will be gone. So this is going to be a hard-fought fight between these two. And again, this has championship implications as well, because NOP and Tri-State Racing entering this race separated by 7 points, leading towards the way of Tri-State Racing. Those two are the only ones battling for that LMP2 championship.
I can imagine they probably will, and yes, they do choose to do so. And being a lot more tentative on the pit entry than we've seen a couple other drivers do this time round, but it will be the number 12 Tri-State Racing car who will inherit the lead. But the concern for the number 89 is, can they hold on to second place coming out of the pits? You do tend to lose about 20 to 25 seconds doing these drive-throughs, so it could be extremely close with the NOP and World of Sim Racing team coming out of the pits. And well, there you go, there's the 51 flying on by, and it's a lot less close than I thought it would be, I'll be honest. So actually it looks like you lose about 30 seconds. Yeah, looks like that's up at turn 11, and all that was contact behind from the number 16. And well, that's a slam dunk penalty as well if I've ever seen one in my life, and that is a gap and a half. And it looks like the title esports car was
overly cautious. Oh
yeah,
they got a move done on him. Holy cow! As we take a look at this replay of the number 52, getting a move done on the 98, locks up the rears and goes for a spin. Contact being made as well. That's going to rub salt in the wounds for the 98 team, which is well farther back. And talk about this fight going on with Julian Becerra in that Simatech Sensations number 20 car, getting a move done on the 51 car with a sideways snap hang through turn number 13.
GT3 that we were watching a few minutes ago, the Tri-State Racing car BMW has just gone for a spin. It looks to be all by himself. And yes, it was. Was there any contact with anyone else? He has to be really careful rejoining. Well, it looks to me the classic case of, yeah, just giving it a bootful mid-corner. And, oh, got a big whack there from the number 3. BMW there, who is currently running in 4th, get past the 30 there. That was very close, and close again, heading into the middle part of the lap. They're very close,
contact.
banging doors. And I can't imagine that would have done either of them any good. The number 30 not pleased at all with the 6.
So as they head through the middle sector, the NOP car closing in on the braking zone through into turn number 8. But Mark Matai feeling the pressure in that Tri-State Racing car. Imagine if you are Matai in that number 12 car. You inherited this car not from the start. You had to have a driver swap to get behind the wheel. And now pretty much the entire team's season and their hopes of winning a championship are rested firmly on your shoulders. At this point, though, we may see a driver swap go on again, because, I mean, they have continued this tradition. They have continued this strategy throughout this race. They're doing a driver swap every single time they run down pit lane. This may be the last time that we see Bart Matai behind the wheel of that Tri-State Racing car, yielding it back to Michael Simpson. Then we're going to have a Michael on Michael fight between Michael Simpson in the Tri-State Racing 12 and Michael Sundstrom in that NOP 89. Looks like they're going to stay out for another lap as Simatech Sensations comes in. But look at this, the 89 trying to even look at a move into turn number 1. As much as Sundstrom is quick, he needs to be patient about this move. An inopportunistic and ill-advised overtake that could end in absolute disaster. And instead of having a scenario in which you're just barely losing out on the championship, you'd lose it in a heartbreaker. But the 12 got slowed behind lap traffic. This may be the opportunity that Michael Sundstrom needs. Side by side heading down the hill into turn number 5. It's a 12 car go prevails. The 89 going to get that move done. The 89 trying to get the switchback, trying to get a good run out of the corner. Going to be in the drift, trying to utilize as much as he can before he heads into the braking zone of turn number 8. Looks like the 12 car, the Tri-State Racing car being driven by Bart Matai, going to withstand that challenge from Michael Sundstrom in the NOP 89 for now. However, the fight is very much on between these two, with the final pit stops looming.
Yeah, that's the thing we're all thinking about, isn't it? The pit stops, everything can happen out here on track. But as you get closer to those pit stops, I think the number 12 might get a bit desperate and just want to be ahead going into the pit lane, because track position in pit stops is worth about, I'd say, at least a second if you're running very, very close. It is that much important, and considering how close the pit stops have been, as in comes the number 12, this is going to be the make or break. No speeding penalties. They've got to be so careful, these two. Is Michael going to come in this lap? Yes, he is. Be careful, Michael. Do not get a speeding penalty, and he was quite cautious that time round. And here we go. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Crack your knuckles. Get ready. Is it going to be the 89 leading out of this pit lane?
That is the real question, Aaron. That 59-second gap between those two cars remaining about the same. I'm taking a look at the track map graphic that we have right now, trying to see where exactly that Tri-State Racing car is at the moment. That is the real question. That's what's going to make or break their season. There's Bart Matai in that Tri-State Racing car. He's running his way through turn number 12 into 13 right now. Sundstrom still in the pits. Matai, who are following right now, had to deal with a lot of traffic. You can see a hornet's nest of fellow LMP2s, some LMP3s, and LMGT3 in the midst of that as well. That is not what he wanted to deal with at all. So that is not going to help out Bart Matai's chances. And there's Michael Sundstrom. He's out and away, about to hit that pit lane speed limit line now, and he is going to be bending the floor pan in that race car to try and gun in front of Tri-State Racing, and he does so successfully, leapfrogging in front of them in the process, building that gap now to about 3.5 seconds, around about 4 now. However, with some slightly colder tires, Michael Sundstrom, who's going to bring that car to the checkered flag, going to have a lot of trouble on his hands in the first sector of this outlap, but it looks like Michael Sundstrom getting the move done, putting on those fantastic laps at the end of that stint to be able to jump in front of Bart Matai, and that may end up being their season. They've still been militarily consistent. An average finish of 2.6 is nothing to scoff at all. So Tri-State Racing even if they don't win this championship, they don't have anything to hang their heads low on because they have been fast all throughout this season. Speaking of fast, Mateus Carvalho in that Delta Racing number 41 car trying to get moved done on the Simatec Sensation 20 side by side into turn number 1. They're still going to be side by side on corner exit, heading down, braking into turn number 3. The 41 car got that inside line, the 20 got the slingshot move around the outside, back on the inside into turn 4. Looks like that 20 going to withstand the challenge for now, but the 41 has a good run. They're still going to be side by side, heading down the hill into the hairpin of turn number 5 for one of the last times in this race. Julian Bissauer kicked this season off with a victory at Barcelona. He wants to end it with a top 5 run, but looks like it's not going to be 4th place as Delta Racing gets that move done. That was a pretty hard-fought fight throughout the first sector, and they managed to get through it clean. Heading his way in through turn number 13 for the final time in this 4-hour-long race. His headlights are on, but the party is about to be on for NOP. Nearly on pace. They call themselves nearly on pace, but they have set the pace all throughout this season. They scored 1 victory earlier on at Imola, and here at Portimão, they're going to make it 2. Michael Sundstrom, with a brilliantly executed drive, is going to cross the line to become your European Sportscar Championship LMP2 champion for the 2024 season, winning the race, his 2nd win on the season. 4.7 seconds between themselves and Tri-State Racing, who, despite the fact they don't grab the win and they don't grab the championship, they should still be celebrating with a very well-executed drive all throughout the season, and a P2 result in the championship may not have been what they wanted, but it was still a valiant effort from them. Delta V Racing, though, they are going to be ecstatic. Orlin Barry behind the wheel of that Delta V Racing number 25 car. They're victorious in the LMP3 category, 2 laps in front of Focus Racing in the number 5 effort. And in the LMGT3, Restec Reporter Corsa and Andre Miato behind the wheel, the number 73 Mercedes crosses the line to become your LMGT3 champion here from the European Sportscar Championship. A brilliant season from them, 4 victories on the board. It was just flawless, for lack of a better term. But for the final time here from the 2024 European Sportscar Championship, that will just about do it. So for myself, Ron Mullins, Aaron Smith, joining me in the commentary booth, and all the people involved in the European Sportscar Championship, the drivers, the fans, and all of the admins that make these broadcasts and this series possible, I say thank you all so very, very much for watching, not just this broadcast, but all the broadcasts we've had all season long here from 2024 for the European Sportscar Championship. And we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not-too-distant future.